the microphone. I knew something was up. Hello there, ladies, gentlemen, and unicorns. Thank you for dropping by on this other beautiful Sunday. It's incredibly hot here, the sun has set, but still, thank you so much for hanging out and seeing what's up on this very nice channel. Again, I'll be streaming today for about an hour, 1.5 probably, and it will be all about digital set extensions for the upcoming Ludum Dare documentary. As always, I will try not to ignore the chat, and when I do, I will overlook, I think, 80% of what you say. I will try to do better this time. Let's have a look at the chat. Hooray! Again, I'm not the only one here. I'm not screaming out into the void. This is great. Okay, so if you recall, last week I did just some little editing in Premiere, and today for a different shot on a different location, well, it's not so much different, I have to do some digital visual effects magic to make a shot work. Because it is set in the 1940s and I'm shooting this in contemporary Salzburg, yeah, I need to do something about this. And I will walk you through my process of making digital set extensions and also where to get the references that you need and you can use should you want to commercially, and what to look out for with Creative Commons licenses. Okay, another thing is I got myself some coffee. And I'm not quite sure if I can recommend it. It says cafe latte, but it's more like a syrup. It's very sweet and not so much strong on the caffeine side. So yeah, no recommendation there. Usually I have some kind of weird drink, but today it's nothing to phone home about. Okay, so before switching over, let's start up Premiere Pro and have a look at the shot in question, and then I will walk you through what I'm planning to do today. Let me just switch over here. Transition time. This is great. So I won't be using Premiere much today, but just that we are all on the same page. Yeah, this is the shot. No, we're starting here. And this shot is set to be at night in the 1940s. As you can see it, I shot it somewhere here. And without any spoilers, I'm just looking at this shot here. This one here where I'm walking towards a 1940s warehouse. And from what you can see here, it doesn't look like one. It really doesn't, but I was certain that I would be doing some set extensions anyway. So what I had to look out for, let's disable here this fade out. What I had to look out for when I was acting, or also when I was editing, that as you can see here, I'm never overlapping anything that's, for example, on the top of the building. I cut here when my head is already inside this top of the building, and pretty much what I'll be using for this shot from the live action scene is me walking towards it. The rest we will try to replace digitally. This is also why I didn't bother to put the light out of the frame, because I knew all the cars will be gone, the light will be gone, and I will be only using this portion here of the frame. Okay, let's have a look at the stream, and apparently enough data is coming through, but still YouTube complains that it's a bit laggy. So let me know in in the chat if your experience has some kind of hang-ups or lags there, because I switched internet providers. I upgraded my internet package so that the stream looks nicer, hopefully, and still YouTube is complaining. On the other hand, it's YouTube. Okay, so just to zoom in, so this is the shot that's going to be. And I will probably do a little bit of rotoscoping, which means just cutting out myself when I'm overlapping something that I shouldn't be overlapping. And what is also important for us here is, let me find this shot here, is the clip information, so that I know with what shutter I shot and the aperture, and yeah, the ISO is not that important, but yeah, just that I can essentially recreate this digitally for all the set extensions. Okay, so to show you what I'm actually trying to do, you're probably pretty much in the dark right now as I'm walking into the dark. I'm so funny. Oh, kids outside are screaming. As long as it's not an airplane, I'm content. Okay, so let's just to show you what I'm planning to do. Yeah, let's just take a still frame from this one here and save it somewhere, probably from, yeah, when I'm overlapping. You know what, I'll be taking one where I'm also casting a shadow, that I know that I should be on the lookout for the shadow, and just browsing for a folder there. Where shall we put it? Ludum Dare 42, so that you can follow along in my file saving shenanigans. This is my project folder. It has grown, of course, pretty big because it got the Ludum Dare bit in there, and also the film noir bit. So everything is just one huge project, and I got there a folder that says visual effects, and this one is here for scene number 5, warehouse interior, 6, warehouse exterior. You know what? It's actually scene 4. Why did I put there? Yeah, you know what? Let's keep it for now. But it's probably way too small for you to see, so I try to make it bigger. Yeah, you can't read the labels. Yeah, for all my visual effects shots, I have a certain hierarchy of files or structure of folder structure, and I got image preview, image references, image sources, and then I got all the setups for After Effects, setups Maya, setups Photoshop, and so on, that I know that with each shot where to look for stuff and where to put stuff. So for this one, I will post it to image references, select the folder and hit here OK, and we will continue now with Photoshop. And while Photoshop is booting, apparently I still had it open. I wanted to say, while Photoshop is busy booting up, I can have a look at the chat and to see if I'm coming across. Okay, no lag here, stream is fine, no lag. Is the entire scene going to be digital? Well, what do you mean by digital? In the end, I mean, I shot it digitally, but you're probably wondering how much of it will be visual effects and computer generated and done in post, and how much I will be using from what I shot from the live action footage. And this is why we are here, so that I can show you. Okay, so I hope you can see this whole thing here. I'll make it a little bit smaller here for me in Photoshop, or scale it up a bit. Okay, so once I hit the minus button there on the numpad, apparently a transition was happening, because this was my shortcut for the transitions in OBS, so apologies. There was nothing that I would be transitioning to. Okay, so we're here in Photoshop, and I got my trusty Wacom tablet down here, so I can do some nifty painting. And let's get a nice pencil. Yes, this looks good. And do a quick paint over. Okay, so the portion that we'll be using will probably be something like this. Maybe even work out what this number here is on the parking space there. But yeah, this whole thing here, the rest will be digital. But to show you what I want to do, I got some more thumbnails. No, this is the wrong folder. I got some references. This is what I meant to say. I got 3 screens, and all the windows keep popping up on the wrong ones, especially while I'm also I'm streaming, so I also have to look an eye out that I'm not that I didn't switch over to the soon or thank you so much for watching while I'm talking into nothingness. Okay, so there we go. Cool. Okay, so this is from my playthrough of LA Noire, and I was playing it pretty much as a research again, and this is one of the warehouses that I selected to be my reference. So in the end, I want it to look pretty much like this. I couldn't get it out of the engine because apparently, the development of LA Noire was wrought with a lot of troubles and problems, and Studio Bondi even, I think, defaulted. Yeah, it was a lot going on, and everything was proprietary, and so there aren't any tools that you could extract meshes like from GTA or something. So yeah, I just have to make do with all the screenshots that I get. But yeah, I got even, here's some shots of the road and this down the street and the street lamps, just for references. You know what? I can hear another plane coming in. And because I knew that this would be happening, and I'm always complaining about freaking planes, I made you something. God damn it, where is this stupid plane? Well, I'm sorry, it won't be the last one. It won't be the last one. Okay, so just that you know, what my goal is for today is to somehow make it possible to get this kind of warehouse into this shot here. And what we could try is, for one thing, is keep going here with this paint over here. So, for example, yeah, I want this to be the road here in front. Sorry, wrong tool or wrong layer. Here we go. That this here in front is still our road. Just putting down here some references for our perspective. And yeah, the warehouse should be something like this. So there is maybe the front here of the warehouse. Or, you know what, this doesn't work because I'm supposed to be going towards some kind of side entrance. So apparently the warehouse is, we're seeing the warehouse here now from behind, maybe something like this. And there is also a building here, perhaps, that goes here. Just cleaning here up a little bit. So yeah, this is the first stage, is just yeah, actually working out where you want to put stuff down, because here again, while you're just scribbling around and just considering where to put stuff down, you know what, I'll start over also with this one here. This is throwing me off a little bit. Yeah, it's cheap, it's fast, it's cheap. You don't have to worry about anything. You just try things out and keep painting over. So where is my reference now? LA Noir, there we go. Okay, so I want to enter this little side door, but as I can see now, the perspective isn't working quite as I had hoped. So either way, I have to edit here before. You know what? Let's bring this picture in here and just scale it up and down. And you know what? That you can see better, I will just increase here the contrast like so. Yeah, I don't need this to be a smart object. This is just a scratch object anyway. I think this would make more sense. So I'm walking up to this little side entrance door there. In this LA Noir bit, of course it's lit. Maybe I don't want it to be lit, but maybe just a little, that we know where we're going with this. So I'm just copying now this part here, which I know that we'll be using, and put it on top. And underneath now is this LA Noir building. So this makes it a little easier for us now to keep the shot consistent, and to actually know where to change stuff later on. Okay, so now of course it's too big. It doesn't match the focal length of the camera that I had here, of course, but when maybe if I scale it down even a little bit further, like so, it could work, as if I'm walking towards a little side door here. But yeah, again, no, this won't work. The problem is, like I said, this little building we're seeing there, this one here, we're almost straight on. And of course, this little side entrance is at an angle from the camera, so it won't work. Okay, I thought this would be a walk in the park, but apparently it isn't. So plan B, let's, what did I do here? Let's just keep painting over. Maybe it works here now that I just be using this little postage stamp and just keep drawing over it. Okay, so you know what? I just pick up here the color of this shot, that we know. Okay, so this should be maybe the side entrance there. Maybe even have something there on the ground. And the main entrance perhaps should be around the corner here. So maybe just keep extending this one here. Maybe we want it to have to be some kind of brick building. Maybe we can make this work. The shrubs here, I'm not quite sure what they are doing here in the end, but still, there is something that's casting a shadow. So maybe I will put a barrel or something here. I don't know yet. Just that it makes sense, like I said, that it integrates better. So, and maybe this towards this direction, it should go a little bit darker. And yeah, this is pretty much some kind of side street there. Of course, it's way too clean for a 1940s Los Angeles, but still. And maybe here have some kind of signage on top, something like this. And I'm just wondering of how far I should be extending this building here. Maybe like so, and then this is the roof up here, just so we're here. You know what I'm trying to paint here, and I'm extending now this side street here, and the building, the grounding of the building where it meets the road underneath should be here. And then there is this T section of the main street or the main road. At least this is how I'm seeing it right now. And yeah, I'm just doing this very freestyle without having any kind of reference for the perspective. But like I said, it's just for a paint over. So this is quick, this is dirty, this is fast. So I hope this makes sense what I'm trying to convey here. If not, essentially, where is the LA Noir thing? So essentially, it's like the camera is now here in this back alley, and I'm walking up to this door. This is right now how I see this shot. And now we can see from behind there, this is the road, or the main street of where this is happening. And let's bring in the other LA Noir image there, where we can see the other side of the road, something like this building here. I will just try and squeeze it in. So let's put it underneath here. Yeah, we need to reflect it. Flip horizontal. Yeah, of course we don't need our protagonist here, but yeah, something along those lines. Maybe even where there is still one street light showing street lamp. I tried to say, because I tried to combine all the words. Okay, so let's just make here a quick and dirty mask. And of course, this is now very apparent that it's way too high for the horizon there of the camera. So it actually should be here, around here. I'm just going to delete this. No, this was wrong. And yeah, this is my process of just inching toward where I want it, just to get the the basics down, just that I need what kind of building blocks that I'll be needing. For example, I know now that I need some kind of road, or yeah, it's road, it's the buildings, it's street lamps, perhaps if I manage to do it, maybe some kind of movement there, and behind there maybe even glimpses of downtown Los Angeles, something like this. Excuse me, but yeah, I'm not quite sure yet. But to make this work a little bit better here, you know what? This is the paint over, right? I'm trying now to match the colors roughly, or the exposure, that it looks something like this. That it integrates just better, that I can see for myself better how this all should play together. And now how this is going, I think I kinda like it. So I just keep here now extending the set here, maybe the street now. Maybe I want to have something here in the foreground that it looks like, yeah, we've covered some stretch of tarmac here, but now I like it that we still have this number here on the parking space. So maybe if this is just some kind of street markings there, like maybe there are parking spaces, or for delivery trucks, something along those lines. And of course, it's not important what's on those sides here, so maybe this will become pretty dark. Okay, so this is just maybe I'm just trying now things that maybe if I make it a bit bigger, and yeah, you know what, I will try to give it some kind of light, so that this is going to be a bit darker, like so. And yeah, this is just to set the mood right, that I know where this is perhaps headed. Maybe because the light in the original shot, no, not this one, because of this light here, maybe I can have a street light roughly in this position, or in this spot there. Just trying out if it would work, if I would be if I would take up the task of making my life even harder by putting there some kind of street light. That would of course go towards this direction here. Like I said, just very quickly sketching things out. And of course it would cast a light there on the ground, something like this. Maybe turn down the opacity as well a little bit more, that we are walking from the lights there into the darkness. Okay, so I think this is, I hope it's not too dark. You know what, I will scale it up now. This was too much. Oh, I switched. Sorry. Here we are. Sorry, I don't know for how long I've been just having the camera on me without showing my progress. I'm sorry. Let's just have a look at the chat that I know. Perspective looks challenging. Okay, so good. It wasn't for too long apparently. Because Photoshop was occluding the whole chat. Probably disabled Discord notifications to avoid distractions. I think I did. Okay, so let's have a look at the chat right now, while you behold this horrible / gorgeous concept of a matte painting of how I would think that it would look in the end. Those cars look too new. Yes, the cars look way too new. Message retracted. Stream so fine so far. Okay. Be careful when creating special effects buildings. I've heard that people have ended up being in the middle of management at Nintendo in the 1980s as a result of trying that. Yeah, I see where you're going with this. For those of you who don't know, I also made a shot of Nintendo in the 1980s, where I also did a digital set extension, and it was more work than anticipated. You're not that old. Well, Wow. I kinda am. Loving the composition, very interesting. Thank you. Perspective looks challenging. Yeah. Also, whoops, that OBS key shortcut is tied to something in your editing software. Yes, it's the minus key on the numpad, and when I'm zooming in and out. So I made sure that I'm now staying here in game or in the screen recording. That when you see a transition, it's just that I'm transitioning to the same shot or the same angle that I'm in. Okay, and you accidentally transitioned again, not too long. Okay, good, and another airplane. Okay, and apparently I'm for the third time in a row I tried to paint on the wrong layer. Okay, so but I think you know where this is going, and now you know what? Let's save this thing here. Let's call it ref or not concept 01 met extension. Version 01. Good, because now we can identify what actually we need to be looking at. For one thing is just to turn up the opacity here on my digital pencil so that we can find out or see better what I'm drawing here. Okay, for one thing is that I'll be needing something here to cast shadows. Maybe it's a trash bin, or yeah, just anything here that makes this shadow make sense. I put it down now here as trash bin question mark, or for our English viewers, it's a rubbish bin. Maybe something here. I'm not quite sure as what so far. Let's have a look at my reference again. Yeah, it's just a trash bin and maybe some kind of window, or maybe even some power lines there. Who knows? Just I block it here as something. Maybe during the research we will happen to stumble upon something that would make sense in the 1940s that makes things darker. Okay, the other thing is that we of course need to pick up this structure here that I have in my source image here. It looks way too new. Maybe we can put something on top, but that of course would mean that I need to rotoscope myself as I'm walking towards it. And pretty much the whole point of just doing a digital set extension and not green screening this is to avoid having to separate background and foreground. But yeah, I'm not quite sure if this is working or not, but I think this is one of the big question marks in this shot that we need to find out whether this works, or maybe I would want some kind of red dark brick building. But yeah, we will see. So I'm just trying to undo all that I did here so that I can get rid of those pencil marks there. Okay, good. So then this little shrub thing here, again, maybe we need trash bin to be something like this, that it occludes here and we can hide. We need some way of hiding those seams here and also there in the front. Just something. And then we need, of course, some reference here for this brick building, perhaps. So I'm just putting it down here as brick warehouse. Oh, you can't read this, right? Warehouse. Then, of course, we have here the street scene and the pretty much road. I just say, or is it a road? No, it's a street. I never figure out what's a road or what's a street, because in German it's both the same word. So I think I put it, it's a city street, right? It's street, and of course we need street lamps. And maybe even car, just one perhaps. But yeah, maybe we can find something, since this shot is not moving. Maybe we can find a car on one of the reference images or source images that we will be just cutting apart and Frankensteining together to make this work. Of course, yeah, I know right now it looks very skewed because yeah, the perspective is way off. I think in the original we got the horizon here, and this is just stretched. But of course we need some buildings, of course, across street. Okay, and for the foreground we need probably some kind of tarmac texture. Tarmac, is it a C or is it a K? I think it's a C, tarmac. Otherwise it would be, if you call it with a K, I think it would be tarmac, registered trademark. Okay, so let's have another final look at the source, and maybe I can use this tarmac thing here, and yeah, just trying to figure out how much I can salvage from this one here. So maybe even up until this ledge up here, that I could work somehow into this shot here. And yeah, of course this side of the car has to go, and also maybe this stripe here on the floor, on the ground. But yeah, something around this. So I think this should work. Yeah, like I said, I'm not quite happy with how pristine and clean this looks. But since I'll be walking here, maybe we can put on some grunge onto this part here. The big problem with all those digital set extensions is that, of course, you don't want to give it away that it's an extension. You want to make the things, the transitions to the live action thing from anything that's digital. Why am I doing this? I shouldn't be allowed to touch anything while I'm talking. Okay, so. Yeah, you want to have those transitions seamless, but again, it's a fine line where how much you can deviate from what's there in the original plate. As we say, the plate is what you get from camera, and what you do digitally in some kind of matte painting. Because of course you want to have your scene extension look differently than what you got. This is the whole point of making a scene digitally. Okay, so far so good. I think for right now, maybe let's switch on this here and save it just as a PNG, that I'm not overpainting it, and I call it not matte extension, I call it matte extension asset list. This should work. Version 1. Save it, and of course I will save it also as the PSD. And now we can transition over into the wonderful world of finding planes. Of finding references that we can, like I said, just cut apart and see where things are working. Okay, but one important thing is we need to really now that we are looking at making a collage of something, and especially with buildings and anything that you can, that's angular in a sense, you really want the perspective right, because you don't have to be a professional visual effects artist or anything. If perspective is wrong, you notice it, because everybody every day perceives perspective correctly, and as soon as you watch this thing here, it doesn't look right. So how do we go about this? Just switching on here now my source thing, and I call this perspective, and I'm trying now here to find as much as I can to find lines that are parallel to each other and that extend towards the horizon, so that I can just find where all those lines are converging. Okay, so I'm assuming that the lines there, you can see it doesn't line up perfectly here, but I think this is also due to the lens distortion, because it makes it a little bit barrel shaped. So you know what, I will need to extend this quite substantially just to find the vanishing point of this whole thing. Let's try 4000 pixels. This should be good, just in one direction there, and just that we can see something is that I make the background dark. This is just for reconstruction purposes, to help me when I'm placing all those buildings and everything that I will find online, that everything converges at the right vanishing point. Oh my god, this is so far out there. Or is it? Yeah. So those lines, of course, aren't at the same height. But yes, somewhere around here should be the vanishing point of this whole scene. So this is vanishing point number 1, and let's extend it even further. Let's say 7,000. I'm really happy that Photoshop isn't crapping out on me right now. Okay, so this was one vanishing point, and now I'm trying with a different color so that I can oh god, no, I can differentiate the different vanishing points. So this one shouldn't be too hard. So it's just a rough approximation, of course, just that I can know where I should be putting. I'm just I'm just fumbling around here because I'm not quite sure if this building there was actually what's the right word when something it's at a perfect 90-degree angle. Yeah, I'm not quite sure that this building lines up perfectly to those stripes there on the parking the parking spaces there. So yeah, this is maybe we got one vanishing point here. I'm just trying it out now here on what I can make out, but I'm quite confident that one is here. So you know what? Let's give it a big red cross or plus sign or whatever. Just that I know, oh my god, this compresses terribly. So I'll be using a different brush now. Come on. There we go. So this is a vanishing point. I think the most important vanishing point that we have here is this red one, and the other one is a nice to have vanishing point, which gives us for that we know how angular we need to make, or how we need to angle this line here of our brick building. And the one thing that is missing now is the vertical perspective, but I'm not quite bothered with this one because this you can easily fake. But I think this extends up here, and this one extends up here. Yeah, it's just a little bit. The camera is just a little bit angled upwards. On a actual shoot, you would have a visual effects supervisor whose job it is to take measurements of pretty much anything. I during my time at college and also for other little productions, I acted as a visual effects supervisor, and people hate visual effects supervisors because they always take up time. When you're on a shoot, people of course are always stressed out because there's always something that takes longer than anticipated, and yeah, people just need to keep going to meet the schedule. And as a visual effects supervisor, your job is just to say, nobody move anything, I need to take my measurements. I need to measure the height of the camera, where it's angled, the lights, where they are pointing, where the focus was pulled. If the camera was moving, then it's a whole different story. You need to take photographs and maybe even shoot HDR balls, and pretty much everything that just takes up time. And people especially if they're not very used to visual effects supervisors, they say, yeah, we don't got time for this. Really, we need to get going. We don't got time for this 5 minutes that it takes you to take measurements of anything. The problem is later on in production, when you're sitting there in like we are right now, and we don't have any measurement, and we need somehow to to tease it out of the footage what the actual situation was, and it takes so much longer. And of course in big productions it just takes so much more time, and time is money. You know what, I just realized that this little tripod here is also pointing upwards. So from what I can tell, like I said, here our most important vanishing point is this one here. But I didn't also completely forget to take measurements. What I took was at least the height of the camera, and I said it goes up to here. So I'm assuming it's about 1 meter, 80 centimeters, 85 something up from the ground. So this is all I have to have to rely on, because like I said, we're going to recreate this. And I just came to think of it, maybe it would be even better before starting looking for references that we're doing a quick blocking in your favorite 3D package. You can do this of course with Blender. I tried Blender myself. Every 2 years or so, I try to give Blender a shot. When it started out, it just horribly crashed my machines. I'm talking about blue screens, and you really had to restart everything. And I thought, yeah, no, it's not ready. It's not ready. And a couple of years back, when everyone said, yeah, Blender is really powerful now, and I just tried clicking and nothing happened, and they said, yeah, you need to right click to select something. I think that was it. And this was the moment when I thought, I'm out. And this is my big problem is that I started with 3D Studio Max and then transitioned over to Maya. Took me a year to transition over to, because in college I had to work with Maya, and I've been stuck with Maya ever since. I mean, it's a very powerful package, but again, I hit the minus button, sorry. It's a very powerful package, but the problem is I pay for it. And a subscription, which means that you can use it and always get the newest version, this maintenance contract costs like 800 euros a year. And don't get me started what big compositing packages cost a year. It's really something. But for me, I'm the fastest in Maya. Okay, you know what? Let's save this little horrible thing that I made. I made another transition. I'm sorry. I really need to think about a different shortcut. Okay, let's save this and bring it over to Maya, where I can show you how to match the perspective of something, that you can do some kind of blocking, or blocking in a sense that you just pop up blocks, that you can get a sense of the actual logistics of the scene, and and how things are spaced to each other, and the trying to make a digital set of your digital set extension. Okay, I will crop this down now, just because I don't really need this. Like I said, the most important one for us is those green, of the vanishing point of those green lines. Okay, I'm going to save this now as Met perspective, or just persp v01. Usually this is the reason why I'm not so happy to do things on stream, because I get sloppy. Okay, before or while Maya is starting up, let's have another look at the chat, and I hope that I didn't lose all of you because I was so engrossed in my little crappy drawings. Here late, place, are you going to a certain kind of building? Like, does it have a name? Maybe the name can cover part of the area. Yes, the actual on the building, the garage has the warehouse has a building, or not a building. The warehouse has some kind of board, because the story is that our detective, where is it? Where is it? I have way too much stuff there on my desk. Oh, there we go. Looks at some kind of business card of this business, and then he looks up, sees this on top of the business, and looks down again. And this is the place where I want to put this is, come on Photoshop, is no. Why did I hide everything? Yes, I hid everything. Oh god, yeah, this isn't. I should do some cleanups of this. Okay, so this is, I think this is what it looked like before, right? Yeah, okay, good. You know what, maybe, what is this? Okay, this is nothing. Just so that I know what I'm doing, I'm just giving this some, let's make it yellow, just that I know. And yeah, the name of the place, this billboard, maybe should go up here, so that we know also in the shot that even if you're the stupidest and least attentive of audience, that you still know that, yeah, this is the building, just to make sure. Okay, let's have another look at, there we are, at the chat. There are so many windows open, all those palette windows from Photoshop and now from Maya just keep overlapping each other. Or is it yet decided? Later too. Oh, hi Red Hermit, and hi Prada. It's no problem that you're late. As I said, all those videos will be on demand when I'm finished, unless something horrible happens. So you're good. You can probably estimate the middle of the shot seems to be about the top of the door. Yeah, something. Yeah. As you've seen, I'm just making a rough estimate. It just needs to work for this little postage stamp. Like I said, that will be the live action bit. Transition is neat. let's roll it in every 2 minutes or so. Yeah, I probably will. By accident, but I probably will. Okay, good. If I dye my hair, they'll believe it. I have no idea what this means, but I will follow up on the chat as soon as we're done. Okay, so we are here in Maya, and you probably have noticed that it's your average 3D program. Why is this window so horribly big? Oh my god, it goes across 2 screens. What the hell did I render here? Oh, I remember what I rendered, and I rendered it out in 8K. Just 1 frame, but it still was quite something. Okay. So let's start off with making a camera. Create. Oh my god, the menus are just so tiny. Camera. And there is our camera. Can you see it? I zoom in. Gets a little bit better, I hope. Okay, and what I recall here from Premiere is that we still know at least the focal length of the camera with which I shot this shot, which helps us. That is 24 millimeters. So let's put it there. The focal length is also 24 millimeters. Again, I apologize there. You probably won't be able to follow all those little things that I enter here because it's 4K screen that whose user interface isn't scaled up because yeah, it's a little bit of a vanity of mine because I got this 4K screen and Windows said, cool, so now you can display everything at 200%. And I said, no, I need this screen real estate, so keep everything at 100%, that I got 4 times the space to put my windows and everything. But the downside is that all the labels are tiny and I really probably need some glasses sooner or later because I'm just squinting and sometimes I'm like this close to the screen because I can't read any of it anymore, but I got all the space that I would want. Okay, so the next thing is that I said the camera was off the ground by 85 centimeters or something. So let's move it up here by 85 and it's up here in the clouds because I think I need to set, of course, the scaling of the scene also. So here it is, and where is it? Settings. It must be under settings, and the working units are centimeters. You know what? I want to change it to meters and scale up the camera. So it's not, yeah, it should be 0.85. Yeah, this is correct. So we're here at 0.85 above the ground, and now this our grid here is huge. Okay, so I got the camera, and like I said, I didn't take any measurements on scene. The good thing is the parking spot or the parking space or the parking yard. Man, I'm confused now with the correct English term. Either way, the things where you park your car is not far from here, and should I really have problems with this, I could always go back, take measurements with this nifty little laser pointer measurement thingy, because neighbors here around here already consider me a bit of a weirdo. So why stop there? Okay, the first thing apparently I automatically did was hit Control S, and so we're going to save this whole thing as what scene 4. Yeah, I hit again the minus button, Met extension version 01, and hit Control S, and once to be sure, and twice, and once really hard because it saves better. Okay, so now we need to look through this camera we just created, take the image as a reference, as it called an image plate, and then we need some kind of 3D object in the scene that we can align the camera to, so that we can check if the perspective is in fact correct. Okay, so the first thing that I do is now select camera and look through the selected camera. Panels, perspective, camera 1. Okay, so this is our camera 1, but another thing is that we should be doing before knowing if anything is in frame or not is setting, of course, the right output resolution. This is something I usually forgot, but not today. Today won't be the day. And I say camera 1, and it is frame rate, file output, resolution. No, it's not 960 by 540. It's yeah, I think I will do the set extension in full HD. If you recall, you can see those white bars here. It's in 4:3, but for the set extension, I need all the space and information that is available to me. So this is why it's going to be 1920 by 1080. Cool. Okay, and now I can switch on that we see really what the camera sees, and also in the right, of course, in the right framing. But now I can move the camera around like this, but it won't help us. What the hell did I just do? Oh, of course, this is Maya. So, okay, I select the camera now so that I have it here in the camera shape, and under movement options, I need to say undoable movements, because if I'm swirling the camera around and I hit Control Z, it doesn't do anything. So especially if you do some kind of visual effects work, you always want to lock the camera. Also the digital one, as well as the live action one, so that you just don't bump it and move anything around. Okay, so where did I put my image? Right, I wanted this here, but is it correct? Did I just undo the scene setup? I think I did. Oh man, those icons are so small. 1920 by 1080. And yeah, one is the view resolution, and the other one is the image gate of the camera, because this is we're still here in good old movies and motion picture age here with the Maya cameras. You can also have a different aspect ratio for your film back, which is the simulated place where the film runs through. Either way, we're set up, and now we are ready finally to import this image plane. And where did we put it? No, it's not Windows user folder. This is completely wrong. Did I just save it into Windows user folder? This probably I did. You know what? Maybe I should put this as a project, but it doesn't. Oh man, there's an error message and it's too small for me to read, so I pull it over to the other screen, and the error message says error file mel project location not a valid directory, project not created. Oh god. Okay, so let's say set project. This is also something in Maya you don't have to, but it's good to set a project, because this will take Maya as the default directory, and everything you stick in there will be just referenced by reference and not an absolute path. So if you just keep putting everything in this project folder and then move over to another computer and put it in a different folder there, everything, as long as it's relative to each other, everything will line up. So, but where are we? Okay, it's not desktop, it's my computer. It's G, projects, 2019, video, Ludum Dare, there we go, setups, visual effects, and I put it now here to my, I already had it here in my bookmarks. Okay, and it was warehouse exterior. There we go. And there we got setups Maya, and I set this as my project. And now if I hit save, I hope save scene as, it's here in my project directory, scene houseware extension save. Okay, apparently this was correct. Okay, finally, again, sorry for the detour. Now let's import the image. And where did we put it? Also to warehouse. Oh, it's so tiny. Warehouse exterior, image references. There we go. But did I save it as a PNG? No, apparently I didn't. Let's head back over there and switch on not this, but this. Yes. No. I don't need this. Okay, good. Maybe I also give this a color just for right now. Usually I'm just very much organized, but like I said, on the stream, I'm just trying to explain what I'm doing, and you probably don't want to watch me silently for 5 minutes just organizing my files. Okay, I'm going to save this one and also save it as a PNG, and I call it concept persp. Yes, this is correct. And now we can finally import it here, I hope. Persp, PST, PNG. There we go. And since we set our resolution correctly, everything lines up. But you can faintly see underneath the grid, and it's just all over the place. So I will open up another view so that on one view we are looking through the camera, and that it doesn't get cut off on either side. I'm also here now in the camera. Man, this is so Maya. This is so Maya. You have to go in the camera under, where is it? Object display? No, it's render stats? No, sorry. Placement extras. I'm looking for overscan. Where is it? Oh, of course, I'm in the image, not in the camera. There we have it. Display options, overscan. I put now in 1.8, maybe even 2. Yeah, and now we can see the whole image here, despite the aspect ratio of this view window here. Like I said, this is so Maya. And here in the other window, we just no, we don't want the camera, we want the perspective. So now we got here the camera in an empty scene, and now we're just placing some blocks and just yeah, some very basic objects that we can try and recreate the scene, just that the camera is at the right correct angle and looking at the right things. Plane, there we go. I'm just here snapping it to the grid, and I have a great plane here, and I add now some divisions to the plane that they just show up here in the camera view. Okay, so moving the camera a little bit back here. And from what I can see here, yeah, those 85 centimeters above the ground, for some reason, they don't look correct. They don't look correct. So if I move it up or down, yeah, this is a little bit better, but still I need to have the right rotation of the camera. It's really hard to make out. I give you that. It's really hard to make out probably on the stream that what is happening here. I try to make it a bit bigger, but if I'm moving the camera, I hope you can see this grid underneath is also moving. This is the wireframe of what the camera sees, and on top of this lies this image plane. Oh, it's so Maya. Okay, so if you were doing things correctly and I wasn't, you would have at least taken the measurements of this little building there in the background, that you know, for example, it's like, yeah, 8 meters wide and 2.3 meters high. Then you could create a block there. It's just a cube with the same measurements, and then just try to align it as well as possible. Like I said, my saving grace here is that this camera is not moving, so that I can just eyeball it. But you shouldn't be doing this like I did, really. But for me, it's okay because nobody is paying me for that. Or, well, my patrons are. Let's put it differently. Nobody's expecting me to deliver a motion picture grade quality. Because they will be using it in the next Marvel Avengers movie. Okay, so you can probably also see here that what I'm moving there in the perspective window on the left also updates there on the right. And I'm trying now somehow to get the correct distance here. Maybe something like this. So I'm just trying to line up here one side of this block here of the building. And now here comes the trick of how to align a camera. If you got one thing correct, for example, I can't quite zoom in here, but yeah, let's try it. If you got, here is our camera here in front, and the thing that I feel that I got correct is the camera height and this little, this upper corner here of the building. This lines up sufficiently in this scene here. And now this is the trick. you take the origin or the rotation, the pivot point of the camera, and you just snap it to this one. Oh, that didn't snap it. You snap it to the one thing that aligns. And now when I rotate the camera, of course it rotates around this point. Let's make it a bit bigger here, so that when I'm rotating the camera, this point stays fixed. So that when I'm rotating it now, it looks a bit better. And if I have it like this, I hope you can see it. This building here lines up in perspective much better. And this is a magical moment that once you got your perspective matched, and then you create a new block somewhere where another thing in your scene, in your image plate is, and it just lines up perfectly. And this is a godsend. What also I just realized that I didn't consider, of course, was the distortion caused by the lens. It gets a little bit blown up, like bulbous through, like it's a little bit as if it was projected onto a sphere. But I think I knock on wood, I think I'm good here. Okay, the other thing is that's what's not lining up now is here the grid on the floor. But let's try now just moving it up and down so that maybe or not it keeps converging towards this vanishing point here. But I can't yet quite see it, so I'm just going to scale it up and just toy around. No, actually it looks almost correct where it goes. The camera could be a bit higher or this ground a bit lower, but since I already aligned the camera to this block here, I'm going to move the camera and the block upwards until we arrive here at this vanishing point, because if you recall, or if you know, or maybe not, I don't know if you're about your background, but the vanishing point is always straight on the horizon. So all the vanishing points, apart from the horizontal ones or the vertical ones, lie on the horizon. And this is always to double check is if you keep extending the lines in two directions, that they should end up at the same height in the image. Again, I'm just eyeballing stuff here, so this should be good. But now our block here is a little bit above above the ground now. So let's extend it downwards that it connects now with the ground again. And it looks to be completely off because it looks like it's sitting here on this parking space here in front of everything. This is not good. This is not good. So I move it now back so that it looks like it's where the detective is standing, and then move it up again that it has this upper corner correctly, and then I'm going to scale it up like so, and yeah, just give it some ground contact again like so. And I would say this is almost matched now. If we're not looking at it too closely, I know if you just joined the chat or joined the stream, you wonder what the hell is going on. This is just a bunch of lines on top of something. But I'm trying now to align now the bottom grid here to the lines of those parking demarcations of those stripes there on the ground. And okay, now I just snapping to point. Why am I snapping? I didn't meant to snap here. Oh, Maya. Free rotate. Show orientation point, position. Okay, so now this works. Okay, so if I scale it down again, it should line up those fine green lines here with the big green lines that I drew in Photoshop. Sufficiently, at least. If I just keep rotating it somewhere, it should line up. Yeah, like I said, this is just for me, but apparently no, it doesn't quite line up. So again, I pick here now the pivot point of the camera, stick it again up to this one thing that the one corner that matches, and keep rotating the camera, but it's now rotating completely incorrectly because it's snapping to something and I don't want it to snap. So this is why I'm holding down J, because this is Maya and sometimes stuff doesn't work anymore. Ah, this must be all very interesting to you, right? I apologize. This is probably a bit boring to watch. But the sad thing is, this is an essential part. If you don't get your perspective right, yeah, it's you don't get anything right. Okay, so trying now this again here. So yeah, maybe, you know what I completely forgot is that the camera was tilted a little bit upwards. So I'm also accounting for that. And when you look at this, now the lines almost all match up. Now what did I do? Undoable movements. Oh god, undoable movements. So lucky or happy that I didn't forget to make them undoable. Okay, it still doesn't look like much. But as soon as I switch over to the shaded view, you probably will see that actually it does look like something. So, ta-da! Yeah, this is the ground here, and this is this building here in the back. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure that this is how it all was laid out. But since the camera is not moving, I think we can get away with all those inaccuracies that are in there. And you know what? Now I am just placing some blocks there. Why can't I select anything? There it goes. Okay, I will rotate this plane now back, because now it looks a bit skewed, and this is better. And now I'll be placing some more blocks of the buildings that I want to have there. But first, Control S, and you know what? Control Shift S and save it as Matte Screen Extension 2. And no, this was 1, 2. And here's another trick for Maya if you don't want to bump on your camera and then the work we just did is in vain. One thing is undoable movements. That is pretty cool unless you bump the camera like so digitally, or just a little bit less, and you don't really notice it until you're way behind the 100 undo steps probably. The other thing is that you can, if you're in the right view and have the camera selected, you can say View, Bookmarks, and then Edit Bookmarks, and you can set a bookmark for your camera. So I call this, let's say a new bookmark, and let's call this Matched, and enter. I made a typo here, but it doesn't matter. So when I bump the camera, I can make sure that I go to bookmarks, and there it is matched and it snaps back. And the other thing is, this is the very cheap method, is in Maya, whenever you hit S, you make a keyframe for all the position and the rotation. It's like making something animated in After Effects. And this is what I do, is I just select the camera, go to the first frame in the timeline and hit S. And maybe you can see that here now everything is red. This all translation, rotation, and scale is red. And when I'm moving the camera around, it doesn't matter, because once I move my playhead here in the timeline, it snaps back to, of course, where it has its keyframes. Okay, so good. Before moving on, let me have a look at the chat and to see if all of you have left already. Where did I left off? Man, there are so many people there. This is great. So again, thank you so much for watching and being active in the chat and following this crazy visual effects thing that's going on here. Planning research steps until later on. Nice looking transition. Yeah. Can go to Hollywood and find a job. Yeah, you can. Don't quote me on this, but quote me on this. Unless there is some litigation involved, so don't quote me on this. But I'm ahead, I believe it. You did it again. Put some posters in the area. They'll forget all those thoughts. Damn, my plan was to resell the footage to Marvel. Yeah, please don't do this. They don't like my footage. But if you put in some superheroes, I think you should be good. And if you made up a superhero of your own, copyright it, because either Marvel or Disney, or is Marvel already Disney? I think it already is Disney. Or DC Comics. Yeah, just put a copyright on it. Nowadays, superheroes are so big, you never know if anyone steals your original creation. So don't steal. Don't steal. Super interesting. I did anything know anything about rebuilding a scene. Oh, I hope it is helpful, because I did this so often with so many little projects that I did. And yeah, like I said, often you forget to take proper measurements, and then you have to do it, as we say here in Austria, the Russian way, which I find very, very what's the right word? Ignorant in a way, because it's always say if you do something the Russian way, it's yeah, you just keep cutting corners until you end up with a sphere. Okay, so this was it for the chat. So if we just head over back to Photoshop and see what the hell we're actually trying to do. No, not this. Why is this still in there? We're trying to, yeah, to make it look something like this. And for this, I will try now to make this building here a little bit taller. Like we have here in a reference, something along those lines, so that it can be the billboard can go on top. And now make it a little bit also extend more along the street. And let's place some more other buildings on our virtual non-existent street. And buildings are always where is it? Cube shaped. So I'm just creating a cube here that's as high here. It's the same height. It's a little bit taller as the building we have here. And now we put it on the other side of the street. I move now here this one a little bit. You know what? Maybe it works a little bit better in terms of that you can see what's going on if I switch on ambient occlusion, hardware render 2.0 settings, and there's screen space occlusion. Yes, this is good. Make it a little bit bigger. Filter rate not as much. Well, yeah, the amount. Yeah, I'm not too happy with it, but at least you can see if there's something is connecting with something else there on the ground. For example, anti-aliasing and multi-sample anti-aliasing, and my mouse is not moving anymore. Holy shit, did I just break it? Oh crap. Ah crap. Oh no, we're still back. We're still back. Oh good. Let me just quickly check if we're still streaming, because now I'm not sure. I just wanted to get on my phone and tell everyone, sorry, I think I broke the stream. Where do we have it? Here. Okay, so apparently YouTube still sees me for some reason. Is something still coming through? I'm not quite sure. Please tell me in the chat if you're still receiving something. Okay, there we are. Okay, it's back. Cool. Thank you so much. Sorry. Apparently, yeah. When you do something, I get open Photoshop, Premiere, and Maya, and using my GPU, and of course also encoding the stream. So maybe it was a little bit too much, but I'm glad to be back. What the hell did I want to do? Right. Yeah. No, it's stuck again. Oh no. Oh crap. Apparently, you know what? Let's switch off. Let's switch off the multi-sample anti-aliasing, because I think that this was causing all those troubles. Okay, so no anti-aliasing for us. We're back in the 90s. Okay, so this is now the building that's on the other side of the road. So how big is the road? Maybe something like this. How? Yeah, this is. Yeah, this looks okay. And then I'm just going to duplicate it. And you know what? This image plane here is kind of distracting because we don't actually need it anymore. So I'm just making it very transparent, and that it only shows in the camera. And even in the camera, it's all the way to the back. It's not just 100 meters away from the camera, but really, really far away. Where is it? Because I got the glare here from the lights. I'm blinded. I got the glare from this blue light here, and it's so tiny. So excuse me while I squint. Image center, placement, depth, width, height, depth. Screw this. I just make it transparent. So outline. Okay. And you can see here that this block in the camera view here is cut off. Yeah, what's up with that? Also, cameras, they have a near plane and a far plane. And anything that's beyond 100 meters here doesn't show up. So the near clipping plane, let's say 1 centimeter or 1 meter should be good. And we should see for 1 kilometer. Otherwise, you get some weird floating point errors and stuff starts glitching and flickering. And yeah, so we don't want this. And let's extend now here our road. And let's check here whether the building really sits on the ground here. Yes, it does. It just looks like it wasn't because of this weird ambient occlusion going on there. Okay, cool. So this is this back alley here. And just for reference's sake, let's create a cylinder for our street lamp. I have no idea how big street lamps are or how tall. So yeah, this was probably a little bit too big. But this is the fun of research, that you go online and find some weird forums where people are exchanging about the original measurements of 1940s street lamps in Los Angeles. So maybe it's about this high. If I put it now there on the other street. Where is Photoshop, where I have here my reference? Okay, so, oh dear, I'm referencing now, a computer game that's set in the 1940s. And there, let's have a closer look. I'm just trying to estimate, okay, this lady here, how tall is she? Let's say 1 meter and 65 centimeters. So it's 1, 2, 3. So it's about 3.5 meters high, I would say. Ladies and gentlemen, this is eyeballing it, the masterclass. Okay, so you know what? Let's make a cylinder and give it some proper measurements then. So where is it? There it is. The radius is, let's say, it's 1 meter now. That we can see something, and it's 3.5 meters. And this was not correct. This can't be correct. Did I put it to centimeters? I think I put it to centimeters. So, or is it? Now I'm confused, and I'm not even using the imperial system. What the hell is going on here? This should be taller. Did I scale everything up or down? Man, getting the measurements right is really important. So if maybe it's set to decimeters, which is 10 centimeters. And this is 3.5 meters. And this looks to be correct. Maybe it's just 3 meters. Yeah, either way, we will come back to this and get the actual measurements there so that I can, probably put it in the scene that we as a viewer have also a reference of height, of how tall those people are, that everything looks correct, right? This is the goal. That, well, it not so much correct, plausible is the word, plausible. And of course, you shouldn't watch this film there when it's finished and go, oh look, there's another matte painting. No, you should actually be watching it and be engrossed in the story, right? Okay, so let's say there is one street lamp there and another one perhaps here, and also on this side of the road, because they tend to be symmetrical. This is way too high. I need to put in some kind of human shape that I have a reference for how tall or how big things are. Because those street lamps, man, they're just massive. Yeah, you know what? I will delete this one here for now, but we will come back to it when I have sorted things out. Okay, by now I actually wanted to delve into finding references, but you know what? As an image plane, I will be trying now to load the still image that we exported from Premiere and see, take measurements essentially of myself there in the scene. Again, we're eyeballing it so that I have a reference for a human-sized, shape. Okay, image plane. There we are, image plane. and show RGBA, and the depth is it 0.1? Yes, so now it's in front of everything, and I change it now to image references, and this was the concept painting. You know what, why not use the concept painting? Yeah, why not use it? Okay, and now I will tell this that it's transparent, alpha gain, something like this. Okay, so and now I can place another block there, which I call Mr. Me, probably. Where do I have it? Cube. So I was standing around this distance there from the door, and apparently I'm this high. Okay, so this is me. This is me. So this is actually a tall building, and the road is not as wide as I made it out to be. So those buildings there, they must be much closer if this is a human-sized shape, because how wide is a road or a street actually? Well, it's not a football field, that's for sure. So maybe I should plop down some sidewalks. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, who knows? Maybe make this building there a little bit shorter, like so, and move it up to this other one. Create a nice contrast here by moving it just a little bit back. And yeah, now that I got myself as a reference here in terms of size, let's use it here also as a reference for the street lamp. Like I said, the street lamp is roughly 3 times the height of a person. So like this. So this is actually a tall building. You know what? Maybe it's too tall. No, of course the billboard needs to go on top of there, and yeah. This is good. Okay, so let's have a last attempt at making here now this street lamp stand-in. Create cylinder. There we go. And yeah, of course it has now a radius of 0, 1, 20. Why can't I see it? Why don't I see it? Radius, height. What's wrong here? What the hell is going on? Yeah, let's do this again. Let's try it again. And yeah, this looks better. This looks better. So it's roughly this size, maybe even a bit shorter. Then I can delete here my stack of me's. And as always, double check looking through the camera. There it is. There it is. And it should be, of course, you have the street lamps on the sidewalk and not somewhere here in the back alley, perhaps. Well, it's not so much a back alley, since if you recall, we need some open space here to walk towards it. So yeah, maybe have it somewhere here. Yeah. No, I moved the camera. Good thing I made a bookmark and and a keyframe. Okay, so let's have the street lamp. Let's say, yeah, it doesn't make sense where it is. Maybe I just put it here anyway. I'm not quite sure. Frankly, I'm not quite sure. But let's place some more street lamps there on the road. Maybe here, and another one here, and another one further down. Just, yeah, they are all a little bit too close together, I think. And also those warehouses are too tall. Maybe also make them smaller. Yeah, this is going to take a while, so I will probably call it quits for today. But you can see where this whole process is going. Just to finish things off here, let's hide this image plane here. And yeah, this is me This is the building that I'm entering or walking towards to, and you know what, I put the overscan back that it's a little bit bigger, and this will be the street. And like I said, maybe I will find here in this right perspective some kind of car that is parked there, some kind of garbage can here, and some kind of junk that goes here and just darkens the frame on this side. Because later on I will have a shot where I'll be coming from this perspective here, also walking towards the camera, so that I can use it twice. But so far it's not much, but at least it's something, and it's more than we started out before. Okay, before calling it quits for today, I wanted to talk a little bit about finding references and where to get references, and also in terms of licenses and licensing, that you are on the correct or right side. Because let me just show you, where do I have it? Film Noir Warehouse locations. Over the months and weeks and months, I collected a huge amount. Well, it's not so huge anymore once you spread it out here on a 4K. How about that? Yeah, I collected, let's say, an extensive amount of references of just, street life and warehouses and back streets of the 1940s Los Angeles. Just that I have something to go on, so that I knew, for example, like we had it just now, how street lamps looked. And man, they are pretty tall. But those are downtown street lamps. Yeah, anyway. But if you want to use something, I mean, it's nice that you can pick pretty much anything for reference. But if you want to really use something in a commercial product, and I'm considering my Let's Play a commercial product in a sense, Let's Play post-mortem. I'm considering my post-mortem as a commercial product, because maybe I want to sell it on a big film stuff Ludum Dare Blu-ray one day. Maybe I will sell it to Disney and Marvel, who knows. Either way, you just want to be on the safe side, because I never know where my stuff will be ending up. So it's always good to have the legal background. That's made it sound like I'm a lawyer. You always want to have anything that's cleared legally. This is, I think, what I was getting to. That not someone says, in your in this YouTube video, what's the matter? You used something that you shouldn't be using because I took the photo of the Mona Lisa and you shouldn't be using it, and I'm going to sue you. And this is bad, especially if you use something in 3D graphics, or where you can't easily switch it for anything else. So while I was working on this Ludum Dare, I found a couple of ways where you can find pictures that you can use. And you want to use pictures that are public domain. And the best way to find public domain pictures is, well, it's not the best way, but it's one way that I found. Let me open up here my browser, is the Library of Congress on Flickr. The problem with many public domain images is that it's really hard to find certain things, or the specific things that you're looking for. Like I said, I was looking for 1940s Los Angeles nighttime photographs in the correct perspective, and preferably with rain reflections. And the cameras back then, the films essentially back then, took a really long time to expose compared to what we're used nowadays with digital cameras. So there are not a lot of nighttime shots, because you had to set up your tripod, and it was a lot of hassle. And usually when you were taking pictures, you were doing it during the day. But the Library of Congress on Flickr is a good source for open source images, public domain images that you can use. I was looking at warehouse pictures here on Unsplash. Unsplash is also very helpful, because it's the internet's source of freely usable images. You can give people a shout out if they made the photos, but you don't have to. And the big upside is also the biggest downside of this site. If you look for something, I mean, if you just keep browsing here through some images there, they're very artistic in a sense. They are already processed, and some have a certain look to it. And if you want to use something, it's really hard to do, because they look like product images. But like I said, it's also very good if you want to use something. It's of a very high quality here, and you don't have to think about using them. Of course, it's always nice if you can give the person who made this photo some credit somewhere in your credits. And this is what I'm looking to do, unless I mess up big time or mix things up, which happened, which is also bad. If your work is attributed to someone else, you don't want to see this. So this is why I try to make sure that I credit the correct people. Yeah, this was Unsplash. Then of course you can search on Flickr for public domain images, and you can also look for commercial use and mods allowed. And you would think, yeah, I'm just using something that says commercial use and modifications allowed, so that means I can use it for pretty much anything, right? Yeah, there's a little bit of a drawback, because this means it has a Creative Commons license attached to it. And let's just pick this one here, Old Warehouse, which looks good. Maybe I could use something of it. Yeah, the resolution is not that high. This is another downside. Most of the times the resolution is not as high as you would like it to be. But look at this, some rights reserved. So what are those rights? And when we look at it, it's an attribution 2.0 generic, which means under the following terms, you can use, well, this is actually nice. I was expecting something else, because it's usually attribution and share alike. This you want. Attribution, it's not a big of a deal to have, yeah, to put the person's credits somewhere in there, and a link to the license of this, yeah, attribution 2.0 generic Creative Commons license. If you credit the people and you can use it in your commercial work, and you can build upon it, you can modify it, you're in the good. I wanted to actually look at something else. I think this was, yeah, this one here, which I looked pretty nice. I mean, again, the resolution wasn't too good, but I could work with it, maybe upscale it. But it also has some rights reserved. And this one here, under the following terms, attribution, which is cool, but the big, yeah, the big hook, no, the catch. This is interesting. In German, if something has a catch, it's a hook. So this whole fishing metaphor is, yeah, it's the other way around. So the big catch is that it's share alike. So if you remix, transform, or build upon the material, you must distribute your contributions under the same license as the original. Which means, and I'm no lawyer, and I'm probably interpreting it incorrectly, but somewhere I have the license here open, the interpretation, where it gives some examples. And for example, if you use some share alike music, use it in a soundtrack, as a soundtrack for a video, and which provides that all syncing rights means that you sync a music to some video, but I'm not quite sure if this also applies to images. My point is that you have to make your derivative work. For example, my film, where I'll be using this image in it, I will be transforming it and maybe using it as a text or reprojecting it. But still, I have to make my film available under the same license, which is a Creative Commons share alike attribution 2.0 license. And you probably don't want to do this, right? I mean, of course, you can still sell it yourself. But again, I'm no lawyer, but it sounds like someone else could take what you created and of course sell it, because it's also Creative Commons share alike. What they can't do, of course, is make it appear, which is all stated here, make it appear that you endorse what they did or something along those lines. But in the end, it means, yeah, you can, the product, or in the end, yeah, your modification also has to go under the same license. And I think some people are not quite aware of this, and maybe I'm overly cautious, because I don't think that Gawler History Pro user maybe be watching my YouTube stream and think, yeah, this photo here in the background that's visible for 2 seconds looks like it was flipped and parts of it were used. I'm going to sue the shit out of you. I don't think this is going to happen, but yeah, I'm a little bit cautious, and again, I want to be on the safe side. Wow, okay, this was going on for way too long. So I'll be turning it over now to any questions that might have arisen while I was talking here. And let's check here, also in OBS. Yes, I'm still broadcasting. This is good. So let's switch over to question answering mode. This is question answering mode, and there's a nasty old fly in here. No, it's not even a fly. It's I don't know the correct English word for those bees, but it's not the bees. It's like a small hornet, and it just flew in here. So, Oh, nice. It's trying to build a nest there in my ceiling lights. This is going to be a long night. Questions. Questions. You sure can. Generally, streetlights are more than 5 meters high. Oh, okay. Didn't know that. Just go off work. What are you working on today? Oh yeah, Jackson Williams just asked. Yeah, I was working on one shot digital set extension where I have a little bit shot. I mean, I have the whole shot here shot on my camera, and I'm going to use just a little bit of it, and the rest will be digitally enhanced or digitally extended. Got to go. Good night. Good night, Space Monkey. Sorry for saying good night. So maybe if you watch this on a stream or on demand, you can say, yeah, he wished me good night. So good night. I feel I'm finally here. Stream can start now. Yes, Yoshi just dropped by. Awesome. And goodbye, because I won't be streaming for long. Have I missed something? Not much. Not much. It's just ending now. Finally a proper transition. Yeah. Finally one that was intentional. It's also just being reasonable. If people ask for their work not to be used for commercial purposes, whatever this means, the decent thing to do is just not to use it for commercial purposes. Exactly, yeah. I mean, you're dependent on other people's works, so yeah, just don't shit on them by just taking more than they are willing to give, because in the end, it's all a back and forth, and I think it's, yeah, if someone provides you with what you need, it's just fair to credit them and use it only for things that they are okay with. So yeah, no big Republican commercials with my images, please. This I don't want. Okay, do you plan to render the set extension in 3D or just put together some photos in After Effects? I don't know yet. When I started working or when I start setting up something in Maya, I tend to go overboard and also do the shading and lighting there. The good thing is, of course, the light propagation looks correct and is correct in a sense, at least in a physical sense, because you can see where light bounces when something is occluding it. But then again, maybe I will just use it, in this case, Maya, to position things, and will render it out pretty much flat without lighting, and will do the lighting actually in Photoshop, perhaps. But of course, having it as 3D or 2.5D planes in After Effects would also be helpful, because then you can just turn it and scale it around, and it doesn't interfere with any edits you make, and then in the end you just draw some adjustment masks or adjustment layers where you make certain parts lighter and certain parts darker, and diminish the contrast a little bit there, that it looks like some haze is going on. Yeah, along those lines. So maybe, like I said, I'm not quite sure how this will end up, but maybe I will do some modeling, for example, for the street lights, maybe for the dumpster, maybe I find a model online, who knows. In the end, I just say, oh, screw this, I'll do it myself. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but of course, if I have some 3D objects in there, I think I will render out a still image with different passes, so that I can have the ambient occlusion separately and the lighting pass separately and the shadow separately, that I can, yeah, just touch it up in Photoshop, and then in After Effects or in compositing software, maybe I'll be doing compositing with Nuke later on, because I'm in the process, I'm doing another project for a client where I need Nuke, and I'm in the process of thinking about acquiring it, because it's just a shitload of money. But in the end, I will probably be better off in the long run to do my compositing with Nuke. On the other hand, After Effects is quite powerful as it is. It's just if your compositions get too big in one way, if you got a lot of 4K plates there or even bigger, no matter how big your rig is, it will start crapping out. And Nuke scales pretty well in this regard. Oh man, I went completely off track. So yeah, I don't know yet if I'll be doing this in After Effects or Photoshop. Reds, lol, do I ask again? Do you, what? How long does it take to do a scene like we have been watching? This seems like a great deal of work. Yes, it is a great deal of work, and usually it's really hard to tell how long it takes. Interestingly, the longest that takes me the longest usually is doing the research, or just looking at thousands upon thousands of photos and finding, yeah, this building could work. Maybe I can do a reprojection, or maybe I find a better building that saves me some work. But in the end, then I just keep, instead of just diving in and doing some kind of, yeah, very easy modeling, simple modeling that would take me half an hour. No, I spent 3 more hours online finding for maybe a picture where the perspective matches a little bit better. So it's really hard to tell. But as you can see, it's a lot of work. And I don't even know yet how much I will be using from this wall there in the background, or because when I'm really in my mood of being overly perfectionist and I think, yeah, just fuck this, I will cut out myself frame by frame and then just put in a different background. Yeah, maybe this will happen, who knows, but I will try to keep the workload down. But in the end, I would estimate 20 hours. I'm just spitballing because I really don't know how long it takes. Sorry. More questions. Little time machine in YouTube. Yeah, this is great. Plan to render. Will you make a stream during you create a game as for Ludum Dare? Yeah, I probably won't be streaming when I'm making games or when I'm programming, because I have to juggle so many variables in my head, and when I'm trying constantly to be entertaining and explain stuff, I probably won't be good at doing this. But what I can do is, of course, create more Ludum Dare postmortems, because when I'm just recording myself and just that I know that I will do a voiceover later on, I don't have to be entertaining and talkative while I'm doing things. And also, I'm not a very good programmer, and takes some time that my code looks good and works. So yeah, I don't think that I'm comfortable of laying bare how hacky my code gets in the beginning. Yeah, because I'm get self-conscious and can't be as productive. Yeah, this is it's a problem that I'm having. So I probably won't be streaming game stuff. But what I can do is I'm working on a window just closed. Huh. I'm working on a little game, on a DOS-like game. The past weeks. Maybe we can look into this and I can showcase some of my stuff that I did there. So probably not streaming of Ludum Dare, because I don't think it will be also. It won't be very interesting. Next live stream. Yeah, I think I'll be planning maybe next week, next Sunday. Something like this. This is, I think, the third live stream that I've been doing each Sunday at the same time. And I'm quite happy with it. And if you like this, and apparently I got 12 concurrent viewers. Eat your heart out, PewDiePie. 12 concurrent viewers. So if this is interesting to you, I will keep doing that. So yeah, please let me know. Did Disney or another studio use After Effects as main effect software or something on? No, they won't be using After Effects. After Effects is still, from my perspective, still considered some kind of prosumer, where you're a consumer but also producer. So your medium-sized media outlets, from what I know, is maybe if you're an agency that delivers graphic artifacts, graphic assets for TV stations, maybe then you work with After Effects. But for visual effects for big commercial films, After Effects is not really an option, because there are so many things that are wrong with it. For one thing is color management and collaborative features. So the big visual effects software, at least that I know of, is for one thing it's Nuke, which I think started out. The first one was it was Digital Domain's in-house compositing software. The first one was used in Titanic, which was 1997, and now has been acquired by the Foundry. Then there were other compositing software, was Flame and Flint and Inferno and Quantel and all those incredibly expensive compositing software, where it was all in one package. I think, just to give you an estimate, it cost like, I think $250,000 one of those systems, and you got the workstation, the high-end workstation it runs on for free, essentially. So yeah, and right now Nuke is kind of Unity, right? I mean, there are some houses like, I think, Pixar or Sony right now, some have the proprietary software that is not out on the market, and Nuke is you can license Nuke like you can license Unity, and it's a good starting point for pretty much the big serious compositing. It takes a little bit longer to get started than After Effects. You know what? Maybe I can do a stream on Nuke if anyone's interested. But yeah, this will be down the line. The point is, no, the big studios won't be using After Effects because yeah, at a certain complexity you can't work with After Effects. Thanks for good luck and good fortune making. I can't even read out perfectly anymore. So yeah, you're welcome and thank you so much for my God, the wind is picking up now. Yeah, thank you so much for staying on. Really like these productive streams where you're doing things I know very little about and explain them. Oh, thank you for your answer. So if there aren't any more questions, I can show you something that I've been working on creatively this week. And because I don't know what I should be doing next week, maybe just keep working on this digital set extension. Maybe I do some work in between, perhaps some kind of research or modeling of the street lamps or anything else. Because yeah, it's like making a game all by yourself is, yeah, what's the big thing? Yeah, the input is not working and half of the levels is missing. You're right. I need to work on the grass pixels a little bit more. Yeah, and this is this thing here with my, as you've noticed, with my Ludum Dare documentaries or postmortems. It's, yeah, it's really hard for me to focus on the big picture, and I'm polishing a little bit here and a little bit there, but I'm getting there. That it takes a while, it takes a long while, but I'm getting stuff finished, and yeah. But if you find this interesting and if you like it, then I can, yeah, just keep doing stuff on stream, and also maybe, like I said, maybe show you what I've been creatively working also on the side. For example, this week I made a little visualization of a music track that I made. I didn't intend to, but then one thing led to another, because I said, yeah, I can't just upload some kind of wave file to Twitter. Maybe it needs to have some kind of waveform display, and yeah, an hour later I had this weird cyberpunky visualization. Okay, how's Connie doing? Sorry if I misspelled the name. No, you didn't misspell it. Connie's doing great. She's in the other room now, enjoying bandwidth, which means she's probably watching her series on Netflix or Amazon. And of course, she's helping me with all those stupid little projects that I'm having. For example, she also helped me with doing the camera work on the latest shoot that I had. And also today we went hiking and I recorded some footage where she was helping me with for the next video that I'll be doing is photogrammetry for beginners, what to look out for, what not to do, and how I'm doing things, and maybe this is interesting to you. Okay, so again, I've been streaming for 1 hour and 46 minutes, as YouTube is telling me. So there is nothing much more for me to do, but bid you a good night. And again, thank you so much for staying on. It's like now 13 concurrent viewers. Oh my God, it's more people. It's more people than I have hands. No, not hands. Of course, more people than I have digits on my hands. This is what I meant to say. Yeah. I need to finish my ugly coffee. And until then, let's switch over here. Until then, see you, I think, next week. And please write in the comments what you want to see me keep working on. Cheers.